We are live. This is Lescast. I am your host, Amanda Costner, and we are recapping First Kill, Season 1, Episode 7. With me today is a YouTuber who got me with her opening catchphrase because I, too, am another mentally unstable person. You can subscribe to her channel, Nakkesha G, where she has reacted to every episode of the first season of First Kill. You can find it linked in the description. Please help me welcome Nakkesha. Woohoo! Nakkesha, how have you been finding this season so far?
It's actually pretty good. Like, it's kind of crazy. I didn't expect to go on the emotional roller coaster that I did throughout the season. Because at first, like, I kind of like how they didn't rush into everything. Like, we knew that they were gonna be together, but it's like they didn't give us like boom automatically. And it was just crazy to me to know that, like, with the first episode alone, how Cal like just knew she was a monster. And like she used like that whole pantry scene was just Cal using it to her advantage. And I was like, we're on for a big emotional roller coaster with this series. And it didn't disappoint. There are things that like I feel like they can definitely work on in the second season, but other than that, it's definitely a great show.
I agree. Great show, great representation, and a fun show. And especially we were talking earlier before we started recording, like this is like a crazy time right now for Americans. Lots going on with the Supreme Court. A lot of queer people are like scared. I mean, just everybody I think is scared. And so it's a good timing for me to have this like fun, cheesy show.
Yeah, I think that was also like one thing. Like, there were so many people that was just like, "Oh, this show is so cheesy. Why do y'all like it?" I'm like, "Well, y'all got Twilight, so why can't we have something cheesy as well?" Like, and I think it's because how cheesy it is. That's why I'm like, "Yo, I love this show because not everything has to be perfect." Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, y'all have y'all cheesy sapphic shows. Let the lesbians have their little cheesy sapphic shows as well. Like, why not?
Yes. I think it was Ash Silver who said, the straights have CW. Let us have this.
Right. Exactly.
So First Goodbye is the title of episode 7. We have a beautiful poetic narration to start. I love in your reaction video, you said the real monster is the Supreme Court. I never amened so loud in my life.
Yes. I was just like, man, it was just crazy. I'm like, whatever. And then like while I was watching it, when she was like, or a monster could be someone in your backyard. I'm like, literally the Supreme Court, like right there in DC, like not too far from New York City. So it's like everything just came together. I was like, yep.
But one of the things I noticed in this like intro narration with Cal is that they show Snake Daddy wearing a turtleneck, and I was like, ooh, bold choice for Georgia, a turtleneck.
Yeah, and aren't they like in Savannah?
Yeah, it's like hot there all the time.
I'm like gonna get a heat stroke. Like, why are you wearing a turtleneck in the heat? And based off like how their wardrobe was for like the season, I'm pretty sure it wasn't during a cold time. So it's like,
yeah. Do you think they're trying to show like, oh, he's a snake man now? He's like different. We got to dress him different.
I guess so, because I mean, he definitely does dress different. Like towards the end, like after the whole snake thing, compared to like the beginning. But I guess through the wardrobe, they were just trying to show that. But I'm like, you didn't actually put on a turtle. He had like a jacket on top of the turtleneck too. I'm like, sir,
you know it smells fresh underneath that jacket.
Yes, I was like, but maybe they are through the wardrobe. They're trying to show like he's different. But maybe they could have done something other than a turtleneck. But right? I mean, I guess.
Yeah. The cops are interviewing everyone about the body found in the park. This is, of course, a ponytail guy who tried to kidnap Cal, and he ended up being Juliet's first kill, second dinner.
Yes, absolutely. And like, I realized that both Cal and Juliet got their first kills protecting each other. So I'm like, yeah, they need to be. Like, it's crazy, but when they were like questioning everybody, I was just like, oh gosh, it was just like crazy to me. I was like, and then Noah's girlfriend, I always forget her name.
I only remember her dog's name. Isn't her dog's named Tiffany?
Yeah, but I can never remember her name. I guess like the dog is like more important to me.
Yeah.
But like when she was just like every time she's like talking about Noah, I'm like, girl, Noah was on the DL. Like he was not paying attention to you. I'm like, girl, I was like,
Yeah. Actually, you think she knew? Probably not. She only cares about herself.
She's like very self-centered. But like I'm pretty sure if she wasn't self-centered, she would have noticed.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure like there's certain things you can notice about your partner, like and things that they do. And it's like the fact that she never picked up that he was into guys, or he could have been into both, but he wasn't into her. Like
right. Yeah. She did not pick that up. One thing that I
love
get
how in that scene.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I love how in the scene how powerful Calliope was. Like when he was trying to explain to her that, you know, the body was drained from like the blood was drained from the body, and like how like stern she was. I was like, that's right, girl. Stick up for your girlfriend. No, you're right.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't expect her to be that way. She was like, no, I know what it means. I know more than you. Yeah. I was like surprised she was giving. I thought they were going to then make her a suspect, which by the end of the episode she is, but.
Yeah, which made no sense to me. I'm like, why would, okay.
Yeah. When the cops pulls her over and thinks that she's like some great detective. She's terrible. Another thing I learned out of these interviews with the kids that I kind of felt like an idiot. I guess the whole world knows about monsters and vampires because they were discussing them like it was nothing. Like it was like they were talking about the Green Bay Packers or something.
Yeah, like that's one thing that definitely surprised me. Like I'm like, I was like, so like the civilians, like the regular people in town know that monsters exist. And I thought it was like something that was like on like a secret. And then like everybody was talking about it, like, oh, we're looking for a vampire. Oh, and then they were saying like no more ghouls, no more vamps. I'm like, wait, so they know these things exist? I thought it was
I know. Does the world at large know? Does everybody know? Does Bolivia, does all the other countries know?
Like the guild sends them to certain areas, like to hunt monsters. So I'm like, do those people in those areas know that those monsters exist as well? I was like, I'm going to clarify this in season 2 because I was like, it's like there's so many questions now, knowing that everybody in Savannah knew that monsters existed. So, like, what do they do?
Yeah, I feel like it would be a bigger deal that the whole town knows about vampires and monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
The MAAM crew comes to school, demonstrating how even vampires and monsters look like saints when a bunch of Karens get involved.
Yeah. It's crazy because like for some reason, like every time certain scenes go on, I always look at the people in the background. So it's like there was like this one woman in the back. She's like, woo, woo. I'm like, where are these Karens coming from? Like, why are they all here? And it's like they were like chanting everything. And I'm like, and Ben is trying to explain like not all monsters are evil. Cause I'm like, look at Juliet. She's so sweet and so little. Like everybody look at her and just be like, yeah, you're a monster. There's no way.
It's ironic. All these like horrible Karens, like they think the like sweet, children are monsters. Like, no, you're the monster.
Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes like now I'm like wondering, like, what if like one of the people in like the MAAM's group are like a monster as well, like on the low? And it's like, it'll be so crazy if one of them are. I wouldn't be surprised either.
I thought they were going to have Bunny be one, but I don't think that's the case. They're just like, no, she's just a Karen.
Yeah, she's just a Karen who just can't let like everything go.
Yeah. Cal offers her family to protect Juliet, and Juliet is like, I'm pretty sure your family forbade us from being together and tried to destroy me and all my kind. Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, are you okay? Did you hit your head? Because there's no way. Like, and she said it so confident. She's like, just come home with me. My parents will know how to protect you. I'm like, you mean the same parents that's trying to figure out how to kill legacies? I'm like, if they knew how to kill legacies, they would have killed her right then and there. Like,
Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, this makes no sense. Is this just, to get their families together again? Which like also made no sense to me because like there's plenty of excuses to get their families together. And then I thought like maybe this is such a kid thing to do. Because when I was a teenager, I absolutely would be like, everybody come live with me. And I like wouldn't even talk to my parents about it.
definitely that kid. Like, somebody would tell me, like, oh, well, just come home with me. My mom would like handle it. And then like I'll bring some. My mom is just like, what makes you think I can do something about this? I'm
Right.
like, I mean, you help me, but can't you help them? I guess that's what, like being young and in love will do to you. You like make the weirdest, craziest decisions. And I'm just like, girl, absolutely.
So do you think that Cal and Juliet are in love? My last guest host, Nika, she was like, no, you can't be in love when you're a teenager. They're not in love. What do you think?
Well, I think like they may not be like deeply in love, but I feel like it's like the first time they both had a connection with someone like that. So it's like they don't really know like how to like handle it in a way. But it's like half of me is like now I'm still trying to figure out like is it because of the bite? Why
Right.
like Cal like falls in love with Juliet, or is it like their actual feelings? And so it's literally a trying to figure it out type of thing. Because one minute I'm like they're in love, next minute I'm like, are they in love, or is it like they're in love with the idea of love? It's hard to tell, but I'm going with they may like each other a lot, like a lot, a lot.
Yeah, a trend I'm finding with the show is that like everything's a little murky, everything's a little
Mhm.
clouded. We're not really sure about all the details of the world. We don't know who all knows about the world. We don't know when exactly Cal fell for Juliet, like, and so I wonder if this is another one of those things. Like, we're not really supposed to know. Is it the vampire connection? Is it the teenage love? I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. That's how I was like, maybe hopefully I really hope it gets renewed for season 2 and like they go more deeper into that and clarify more of like their connection, because it's like how they're able to like communicate through dreams, like being each other's dreams and stuff. It's like what exactly does that mean in a
Mm-hmm.
way? Because I was always trying to figure out like, okay, the fact that like they're still connected with the dreams and like how the severing didn't actually really work. So like what's their plan with that? Because I'm so confused off of just that alone. The fact that the severing didn't work, it makes you wonder, okay, maybe it wasn't the bite. So what exactly is
Right.
it?
Maybe it's just them too. They're special outside of the bite.
Yeah.
What did you think of the scene of the whole thing of like, okay, Cal gets Juliet up to her room and then Talia comes in and she's like, Cal, I thought it was kind of funny with like amidst this whole drama, she's like, how dare you close the door? You know you're not allowed to close the door when you have a girl in there.
That's what you're focusing on? Like you're not mad that she has a vampire in her room? Like you're mad that she closed the door because she has a girl in her room? I'm like, wow, that's I was literally looking at my screen like, hold up, wait, what? Like she's because she has a girl in her room and not because it's a vampire? I was like, that's crazy to me.
Well,
I was
maybe
like,
they're
wow.
trying to show the accuracy of how parents are always just only overly concerned with their kids having sex.
I guess because I was just like, they must be like, why is the room door closed? Like,
Yeah.
no, door open.
Do you
Don't
think
care.
they thought they were going to have a quick, like, they were going to get one in real quick or something amidst all this chaos?
I'm like, relax. They weren't doing anything. They were more scared that she was gonna kill Juliet, not like you gonna catch them doing anything at all. Like, I
They did
mean,
make out right after murdering Ponytail Guy.
they did, and I was like, girl, and I was like, y'all in the woods. What are y'all doing? I was like, it's probably like residue of the guy's blood. I'm like, come on now.
Oh no. I don't even want to think about what their fingers looked like or what their their nails looked like. I don't even want to think about it. Okay. Talia agrees to not tell the police about Juliet being a vampire and all this. What did you think of the very romantic "I can't eat, sleep, or think straight unless we're together" line from Calliope?
I was like, it literally proved there because like I was listening to the recap you did with your wife, like I think for episode 5.
Mhm.
And like she mentioned, like one of the things like she mentioned is like Juliet like wears her emotions like on her sleeve. Like she's very so like when Cal like said that out loud, was like, yeah, I can't eat, sleep, or think straight unless we're together. I was like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. So Cal is in deep too. Because like Cal just like always like kept her emotions like she never really like showed it like the way Juliet did. So I think like in that moment, like Juliet knew, and like people watching the show was like, yeah, Cal definitely likes her. Like it's not like a one-sided type of thing, or like one person likes the other person more than the other. And I melted inside because I was like,
That one
I
gotcha.
was like, they're so yeah. I was like, not the mushy stuff. They're so cute. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I think Calliope is kind of a romantic because she was reciting, she's like got Shakespeare memorized when they slept overnight in the gym or whatever. So she's a romantic lady.
Yeah. She just doesn't really, she doesn't show it as much as Juliet does.
So then we get Bunny blasting some Shania Twain while she's making murder weapons.
I was like, oh, this is not, I literally forgot, like, I was watching the show for, like, a couple seconds. I was like, this is my song. Then I realized it was, like, Bonnie. I'm like, oh, yeah, she's on the MAAMs. Forget her. Like,
MAAM.
how you gonna, like, you're gonna blast Shania Twain while you're being a Karen? You can't do that. You can't.
Illegal. Shania would not approve. What do you think about the relationship between Ben and his mom that he calls Bunny?
I didn't know that was his mom, like, at all. And then, like, when I heard him going back and forth between mom and like, I was like, hold up, wait, he's calling his mom by her first name? I couldn't do that. Like 6 feet.
Yeah, especially in the South. Yeah, I was raised in Alabama and Oklahoma, and like, yeah, when parent, like that was like a big deal in the South. Like when a kid tried to call their parent by the first, like, oh, yeah.
Like my mom and dad are like from the Caribbean, so like you call your parents by like the first name, you're dead. Like, yeah. So I was like, the boldness to call your parents by their first name is kind of crazy to me. I was like, so are they close or not? Like,
I don't think so, because then she tells him if he was a monster, she would stake him.
Yeah, so like, even if it's your own child, you will still stake them. Wow. Talk
not
about
a good
love.
Parent. I don't think she's a good mom.
No, even if it was against monsters, if my child like ended up like was one too, I don't think I can kill them at all.
No, never. No. Then that's the thing that's supposed to open up. I think Talia is like her daughter has fallen for a monster. And yeah, I think we're supposed to see all these lines blurred as like, oh, you hate monsters, but what if somebody you love becomes or is a monster or whatever? Yeah.
I mean,
but it doesn't work with Bunny.
No, even in the previous episode, I think it was episode 3. I think 3 or 4. When I think it's 4 when they like kidnap Oliver and like they had him, like even though like she like ran like a screwdriver in his neck, like even the way like she was talking to him was like no mother wants to lose their child. Like even Talia has like that soft spot for like for a child. Like even like if it's a monster, like she has a soft spot for kids. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so the guild lady that we never really learn what her position is, but she seems like she's a little bit of a, at this point especially, she's like a nemesis to the Burnses, I feel like, because she's showing up to their place and she's asking all these questions and she's like, you're gonna let me in.
Yeah, I think like for some reason I feel like she specifically pays attention to the Burns family than anybody else. And I'm like,
she's Jack's ex. We learned this. Oh my god.
Yes. She's like, later, like a couple minutes after, like she texts like, yeah, your ex is coming upstairs. I was like, wait, ex? What do you? Okay, now this just got a little bit juicy. Right? Like, what do you mean?
This show, they love to put people's exes in their lives, because Margot's ex was all up in their business with the legacy stuff, marrying Eleanor, and then they brought Tess in. Which, what happened to Tess? Cal's ex-girlfriend? Where's she go? I thought she was staying with them.
Like she never came. Yeah, she never like showed up after episode 4, and I'm like, where's she at?
She just like disappeared.
Like I need to know where she is.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, we have all these other exes we're gonna bring in. We don't need that ex.
Yeah. And like when it like came up, like she was like talking about some, yeah, you have nothing to lose but the guild's trust. I said, nobody cares about the guild right now. Like, what do you want, lady? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, I wish I knew who she was. Like, do we even know her name?
I don't know. Maybe they said her name once, but it just never stuck.
Yeah. It's like the dad, the Legacy Vamp dad's names. I still don't know his name. I just call him Snake Dad.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
They don't say it very much.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure crazy. I could go to IMDb and find it, but
I don't think I know any of the dad's names either.
Like, I don't know why. For some reason, I know Jack Burns. That's like a very memorable name.
That's his name. Yeah,
Jack.
Yeah,
Burns.
For some reason, that's yeah. I know his name. I could remember it for like 5 seconds. Then when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, his name is Jack.
Juliet and Cal steal Apollo's sweet red car and they take off. It turns out bringing Juliet back to the monster hunting headquarters was like not the amazing idea they thought it would be.
Definitely not. I was like, what exactly did they expect was gonna happen? Especially when the guild tracks everybody. So it's like, girl, you had to know, like they were gonna know a vampire was in your house, like
right.
And so like the whole time they're like driving away.
Yeah, but I think I think the show wanted a fun scene of the like too hot, this like lesbian couple in a red, that it was just like a hot scene kind of.
Like I'm like, so like they're trying to figure out where to go. And then, yeah, of course.
Why did they go to Oliver and Carmen? Why did they choose them?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And then, like the whole thing with the cards, the tarot cards, and how like it showed the devil after. I'm like, okay, what is this? I don't like where this is going. I didn't
even notice that. I was too busy laughing. I'm like, they're making out on top of the tarot cards.
Like, and the thing is, like, I was watching it during Pride Month. I was like, no, not during Pride Month. I don't want to see this. No, this is gross. No, thank you.
Juliet and Cal.
And I'm like, you're right. It is tarot Pride card.
We should have got a mom's kiss.
I was like everybody ships the moms. Just like,
yeah.
Thank you. But you know, we have imaginations.
Yeah, we have imagined exactly. We have fan fiction. Why did they quickly introduce us to that like random Paulo character and then they get busted and he's just kind of like I just didn't understand that whole part. They were researching.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he has a part later on if they renew the show, but I was just like, and he didn't really say much either.
Yeah, did he even have a line?
I don't even know. Like, I'm like, okay, was this dude just like walking by on set, was like, hey, we need like one more extra person, just speak Spanish, and boom, there you go. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, who is this? Like, I don't understand his role, because I'm like, he could have been
on another set. You could be right, because he looked like he was like in a uniform to go on like Star Trek or something.
Right. And I'm like, but the thing is, like, they said that Theo was like tech savvy and he could do all that stuff. So I'm like, couldn't he hack into the guild without the dude's help? So I'm like, I didn't get his part.
That was weird.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty weird. I did enjoy the scene with Talia, Theo, and Apollo. And especially at the end, the two brothers are like embracing. That was really sweet. And we got more information about, because like there's been a lot of mystery around Theo's mom, and like we at least now know like Talia was around at the time. But yeah, what did you think of the scene?
Yeah, it was definitely different because you never really saw like how close they were. Like I always thought like, okay, yeah, they're just a family that knows that they're a family and that's it. But it's like to see like them with each other and embracing each other. I was like, oh wow, they actually love and care about each other as an actual family should. Because I thought, yeah, you guys are monster hunters. We're just gonna do what we have to do, and then that's it. But to see them embrace each other, it was definitely okay. Yeah, they do love each other.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. We get a almost mirror scene of what happened earlier with Cal bringing Juliet home, but this time Juliet has brought Cal back to the Legacy Vamps headquarters. They do this a lot on the show because like that happened with the Romeo balcony stuff where they both climb up into each other's rooms, and then of course the pilot. They love like mirroring scenes, I feel like.
Yeah, they do that a lot. So like I started to realize like as the show went on, I'm like, oh wow, nah, did this happen before? Because they tend to like do a lot of mirroring stuff. And it's like sometimes like the mirror stuff isn't as sweet as like what happened before. So I'm like, I don't like this. Yeah, I need to fix this.
It's a little bit unnecessary in this episode. I think it works okay in the Romeo episode, but I'm like, I don't really need to see another, you know, I brought my girlfriend home that we're trying to hunt or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, we didn't really need it, but they gave it to us. I'm like, I guess we gotta have it. But yeah, I feel like we didn't really need it in this episode. But you know, sometimes you just gotta write what you gotta write. They wanted to write that in, so we got it.
Speaking of, you gotta write what you gotta write. Listeners, if you're interested in reading the original story, this series is based off of First Kill by V.E. Schwab. Head to the link in the description, and that will take you to the book, which is a collection of short stories about vampires. Yeah. Oliver stops by the Legacy Vamps house. That's pretty much, I feel like, his thing on the show. He just stops by.
Yeah. I'm like, but and it's like, every time he showed up, there was just like, yeah, see yourself out. I'm like, wait, why do y'all hate Oliver so much? Like, what did he do that was that bad? And I'm like, compared to like how crazy Eleanor is, I'm like, what? How much crazier is Oliver to the point that you can't put up with him, but you can still put up with Eleanor? Because Eleanor's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and nobody even blinked twice when Snake Dad ate Grandma. I mean, I know she was evil, but
I'm like, the dude just ate your mother, and then you just made out with him. Like, what is up with you guys? Like, make kissing so people after they kill somebody.
When you kill my mom.
Like, yeah, you killed my mom. Oh, great! I love you so much. He ate your mother. Right like what? He just ate your mother. Like,
yeah, they showed a flash of like a turtle falling. I think they're implying Eleanor did some bad stuff and Oliver got the blame.
Yeah, pretty much sure, because like I know like early in the show, Oliver was saying, no, you just made everybody think you got the good genes, things like that. So I'm like, they're like the fact that they're twins too. I'm like,
I forgot. Yeah. I like forgot that they're twins.
Yeah. It's so easy to forget that they're twins, but it's like, how bad did it have to be to the point where like, yeah, we're gonna stick with Eleanor and just like bash you to like the Outlands and you're just gonna be on your own.
Yeah, I'm ready for the reveal of what this huge thing he supposedly did.
Yeah.
The MAAM crew shows up at the Legacy Vamps thinking Cal's the vampire, and we kind of discussed this earlier. And I think you maybe mentioned this in your reaction video. I can't, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, do you feel like there's like racial profiling going on here that they're portraying?
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, at first I was like, oh, I mean, as a joke, but as I just like kept watching, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
She passed the test.
She literally like touched the silver, like literally right in front of the cop.
She was like, here you go, I'm fine.
Yeah, so when the cop called, was like, yeah, I think we found our monster. I thought she was like, dang, they know Juliet is a monster. Dang it. No, and Bonnie was like, yeah, we know Calliope. I'm like, hold on, wait, what? Calliope touched the silver though. Like she in front of, I'm confused. And I want to know like how all that just came about.
I mean, we have no idea who this cop is. It's like I think it's a new character, but they're obviously, by the end of the episode, we learn the cop is like in on the MAAM movement, and I was like, this is all too real, because I know we've got, this is going on in real life. So it was kind of freaky.
Yeah. I'm like, that's how when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, because like how much like we could relate in like real life. Obviously, we're not like fighting like ghouls and like vampires and stuff, but in terms of like how like there's so many like people who are supposed to protect us working against the people who don't really like, and it's like working with them and working within like the circle. So I'm like, why do I kind of relate to what's happening on the screen? And it's like the fact that she's like part of the whole MAAM movement, like she had on the shirts and everything. I'm like, it's something off about her. Definitely something off about her.
Yeah, it was like that brought me back down to earth. But at least Ben gets to go live with his dad. He doesn't have to live with the shenanigans of MAAM anymore.
Yeah. And it's like, but my thing is like, yeah, they said that he's gonna live with his dad, but my question is he really gonna go live with his dad? Or
Yeah, who
something
we've
gonna
never
happen?
met. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Or is his dad gonna end up coming to Savannah type thing?
I wonder if his dad's gonna be a part of this whole world somehow. They love adding new characters in.
Yeah, characters that only last for like one episode and we never like see them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing of him like deciding to move with his dad, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? Because I don't want Ben to leave.
We need Ben.
Yeah, he's
one of the best.
Ben, in my like opinion, was definitely like one of the funniest characters on the show.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need Ben. I need Ben.
And I
he's
also
like
feel like
relief.
He's the comedic relief. And I also feel like he's the audience's point of view. He's like how we would all react if we saw our best friend drinking blood. We would be like, oh my goodness.
The only human in like a circle of monsters.
Yeah.
Only thing is, because it's like he's best friends with a monster. So like, and he's like trying to convince everyone, like, wait, monsters aren't as bad as they seem. Like, obviously, he can't say out loud, like, my best friend is a monster, but it's like, he's definitely how we would be if we were like in those same situations.
Yeah, I wonder, now that we're talking it out loud, I wonder if he'll end up being a little bit of a hero, since the audience, like, we love seeing ourselves as a hero. I wonder if he'll be like the underdog hero at some point.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I wonder how like they would like write him more into the show, because like he didn't obviously like have that many scenes, but like the scenes that he were in were like very like memorable and like stuck with everyone. So I'm like,
he pops off the screen, the actor who plays him too.
I wonder how like they would use him more. Like I would love to see him be like type of person like who protects Juliet from like everybody type thing, because that's his best friend. And I like, I love like the relationship that the both of them have. Like it's like how a brother and sister will love each other, and I think it's very cute.
Me too. And they need each other, and I think they're there for each other. So
yeah.
Nakkesha, why won't Margot let her husband eat Bunny when he suggests this?
Watching like, no, just let him eat her. Like, what is wrong with you? Like she was like, yeah, you're not gonna eat her. I'm like, why not? He ate your mom.
Yeah, you let him eat your mother.
I'm literally like, give him like the fact that she wasn't mad that he ate her mom. So like, you shouldn't be mad that he's gonna eat Bonnie Wheeler. Like, what's the problem?
I would be like, yes, please eat this. She's annoying me.
Support killing anyone, but if it has to be done, let him eat her. Like she would and all their problems would have been solved.
Right? Just take care of that real quick. I gotta say, I think it was Erin maybe who I had on early on the podcast, who said she thought Apollo knew Eleanor was a monster when they met in the bar earlier in the season. And she was right. He definitely clocked that. So him and Theo decide they're going to go after Eleanor for information.
Yeah.
What do you think of Apollo's technique? The old bang them in the bathroom while your brother waits in the car thinking you're getting
part of me's like, no. Part of me is like, no, he actually wanted to do that. Like part of me feels like he's feeling Eleanor, but because she's a monster, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. But I'm like, why not? Just be like your sister and just break the rules. Like, why not? Like, part of me feels like he actually likes Eleanor, and he just used that as an excuse to actually get closer.
I mean, what was he doing to get he was actually going for the information. You're okay. So he was, but I still agree with you. I still think he has feelings for her.
Oh, most definitely. Because, like, he was kind of mad that Theo barged in and just, like, ruined the whole moment.
Oh, he was definitely like, come on.
And was into it, too. Like, she was into it. So it's like, come on, just let it happen. It's all right.
But Theo can't wait. He busts into the stall like the Kool-Aid man. He's ready to get this party started. And then I really want to know what you think of this. This very interesting stabbing scene that happens.
I was like, why they had to do this? I was like, why?
It was like the weirdest. He didn't even fight this like valiant fight, and then at the end of it, like, oh, Theo loses. It's like Theo gets stabbed because he stands right behind Eleanor, and as Apollo takes like a running start, Eleanor just steps to the side, and that's how he gets stabbed.
I was like, why? And the fact that like he got like stabbed by like a stake by something that they use against monsters, I'm like, why would the writers do this to us? Like, I was like, and I actually love Theo, so I was like, why would they do that? Why they didn't have to stab him. They could have done anything. I just
thought
else.
It was like so nonsensical the way this goes down.
Like, and it's crazy because like they spend their like times like killing monsters, and then just to die, just like getting stabbed by your own brother. Like he didn't even get murdered by a monster.
Right.
He got murdered by like a monster hunter, like his own.
They're
people.
Like the Stooges all of a sudden. They're the Stooges of monster hunters.
I'm like, hold up, like you didn't even get murdered by a monster. You got murdered by like your own people. Like that's by an accident. He got murdered in an accident, like a technicality. So I'm like,
yeah,
that sucks.
I just thought that the show didn't want to put the money out for like a big fight scene, because I think those scenes cost money. It takes them a long time to film, maybe, and they have to block it out. Because this is the second time we had like a brutal, violent, but it wasn't like I was like, what? That's how they did that?
Yeah, I definitely feel like hopefully maybe like the funding for the show goes up more for like season 2, doing how well like the first season did, because it's like you can kind of tell like they didn't like the budget, they didn't really give them that much money like for like special effects and things like that, so they had to do with what they had, and like with what they had they actually did pretty well with what they had. So it's like maybe we get like more of a badass fighting scene. That's what I really wanted, especially with like the scene where Cal and Juliet fought Smashley when she was a zombie. I'm like, I need more of a badass fighting scene. I need like some slow motion, some special effects. So
part of why we love this show is the women on it are so badass. I mean, the guys too, but like everybody's basically a badass, and like show us a little bit of the badassness. Like you said, give us a slow-mo of a kick or a whatever they're doing.
Be something like it's like you said, yeah, the men did their thing, but you know, we care more about the women. Like it's like but like definitely I feel like especially with like they did a great job casting everyone. Like down to a T, like everyone plays their part so perfect. So I feel like, especially with like how they are, I feel like a badass fighting scene is just like one thing that would definitely do it for me.
Yeah, stepping up the action scenes in season 2. That's my request. Yeah. So we're getting towards the end of the episode. Margot suggests that Cal simply give herself up to the MAAM group. And Cal informs her, we're all in this together now. So, yeah.
Oh, so like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, I realized even more in this episode, like Cal is a badass. Cause I was like, she was like, yeah, if I go down, you're going down too. Because like, you're going to find silver. You're going to find the plans that we had. And we came to try to kill y'all. So I'm like, Cal literally was just like, go ahead, do what you got to do. But then all of Savannah's going to know that you guys are monsters. And I'm like,
Yep.
wow. And
I
Margot
think
was
they
just
set
like,
it up good.
yeah. Margot, she didn't know what to do. She was like, yeah, just stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm like, well, damn, you just got punked out by like a 15, 16-year-old. Like,
Right.
what?
Nakkesha, do you think the very nature of being a monster hunter makes you a monster? That's like kind of what Juliet says towards the end here.
Kind of like it kind of falls hand in hand. Because even Cal was thinking that too at one point. She was like, what if we're the monsters like in their eyes? Because like for monsters, like they're just doing what they have to do to survive. Like, you know what I mean? Like even like Juliet is like someone who's like, yeah, we don't have to kill people to survive. Like, we could find ways to live without killing people. But it's like a monster hunter wouldn't really look at it that way. Like they won't even show mercy. Like they'll just be like, yeah, we're just gonna kill you. We don't care what you got. You have a family. Oh, who cares? You're a monster, so you gotta die. Like,
yeah, it's like a cool, I think, overarching, I don't know, moral thing to think about.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's like, oh, Juliet, you onto something there. Like what she said made made a lot of sense.
Yeah. And we end the episode with Theo bleeding out on the bathroom floor. Another crazy episode. I do love how like none of the episodes leave you bored. There is always something going on.
And the ending is always like a what the heck? Like the cliffhanger that they always leave you on is like, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now?
I think that's why so many people just like binge the series right away. Cause like, yeah.
Yeah, because like me, like I recorded like my videos like every other day. So it's like every time I finished, I was like, should I just like record myself doing the next episode now? So I would like literally be up like the night before I was filming. I'm like, I gotta watch this already. Like it's like the cliffhangers are like make you want to just like leave you want to having more like, okay, I need to watch the next one now.
Yeah, they really nailed that skill. They really got that down. What are your thoughts on the episode as a whole? Episode 7. We only have one left.
Yes, I thought episode 7 was definitely, it's like as soon as it gets to episode 7 is really when like your emotions start going all over the place, because it's like it starts off kind of like meaningful with Cal like wanting to protect Juliet with like, yeah, but then as time goes on you're like, hold up, I don't like where this is going. Like episode 7 is definitely when you like your whole like vision changes. Is like, hold on, what's going on here? It just lets you know like, dang, nothing is like cute and bubbly anymore at this point.
Yeah. Do you think this is a standout episode? Do you have any episodes so far in the season that do stand out to you? Like, are you able to rank it? I think a lot of people are like not able to rank them because they're all so action packed, but I was just curious about you.
Yeah. Terms of, I don't know if I can really rank it, because I know like my favorite episode is definitely episode 5.
Okay.
Like that's my favorite episode. Definitely between 5 and 6. Like those are my favorite. But if I like in terms of like ranking episode 7, it's kind of hard. Like I would probably like not rank it so high because of what happens at the end of Theo. It's
right.
like don't like the sad stuff. But it's definitely a great episode. They did a great job in terms of like how the episodes like are written and like how much action they put in each episode. Like they don't give you too little, duds. They don't give you too much. Yeah,
I don't think there's really a dud
like
in the whole season so far, and I can't imagine the finale is going to be a dud. So great season, basically.
I haven't like not one episode have I said like, oh, I don't like this episode. Like every like they give you like just the right amount of like things in the episode. Like the storylines for each episode is just like top tier. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. I've been watching these a lot, like twice. And usually on my second watch, I'm like, let's get through this. But these episodes are just, they're actually rewatchable too. So yeah, they're doing good.
I think I'm like watching this season for like the 3rd time now. Like that's how good it is. Like that's how good it is. Cause like after I finished like the show, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it again.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just like,
And yeah, we need everybody to do that so that Netflix sees how we're going to be streaming this.
Even if it's just playing in the background where you're not even watching, cleaning your house, stream it. Just stream it, because we need. I need at least a good like 5 more seasons and a spinoff. Like,
you're like, just 5 more seasons. I'm just asking for 5 more seasons.
6 seasons minimum, and I need a spinoff.
What would the spinoff be?
The moms. Why not?
Oh yes, they're obviously the moms.
Margot and Talia. Like I need a spinoff of Margot and Talia. Most definitely,
please. Because they didn't get much. Well, Talia got some, but Margot didn't get as much screen time. They didn't have any together scenes. That's why I felt like they didn't get as much in episode 7.
And I feel like in terms of like, if they had both had like more scenes together, it would be so good because of like how well they play their parts of like, yeah, I can't stand you. And it's like, are they gonna come together as a force or not? Like that's what I'm thinking. Cause
I don't. Yeah, that's a good point.
Guts. But like to protect the family that they love. Like, are they willing to like
bumping heads? But now are they going to team up? I think you're right. I think we might see that in the future.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, I want to thank my guest Nakkesha for recapping episode 7 with me. Make sure you are subscribed to Nakkesha's YouTube channel, Nakkesha G, and I will have all of that linked in the description. And yeah, Nakkesha, I just want to thank you for all of your thoughts, and it was a really fun recap.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this recap, and yeah, it was great.
I would love to have you back.
Yeah, just let me know, and I would love to. I'd love to come back. No problem.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, listeners, watchers, make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, rate the podcast. I will read whatever you say, so you can say some crazy shit, and I'll read it. Well, not within reason. I won't read anything, but yeah. If you want to be funny, if you think I suck, don't attack my guests, but you can attack me and I'll read it off. Okay. All right. So we will be back recapping the finale. So make sure you stay subscribed and we will see you in the next recap.